Welcome to the Intentional Excellence Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero. I'm a keynote speaker, host of Intentional Excellence Podcast, host of Love Speaks Live, and Love Speaks Out in the community. And I'm also the founder and education expert for Nevada Global Consulting Firm. This series is called Built to Build, the CEO series, where I feature leaders who share their stories of struggle to success, their future goals, and how they're creating meaningful impact in the community. Tonight, I'm honored to welcome my guest, Alese Johnston. Alese demystifies self storage investing with smart, strategic advice drawn from real deals, not just theory. She's passionate about helping people navigate the critical first 90 days of ownership, a phase that can make or break a deal. With decades of experience and strong pulse on investor psychology, Alese speaks the language of both seasoned operators and those just getting started. To my followers, please help me welcome the wonderful Alese Johnston to the show. Hi, Alese.
Hey, thank you. What a great introduction.
Well, I think I want to hear more. Tell us more about yourself. Did I miss anything, Alese?
Oh, good gracious. I don't know what it would have been. Ah,
All right. Well, I'm podcasting from Tampa, Florida tonight. Elise, what
nice.
about you? Where are you podcasting from?
From
Our show is global, and I love to
nice.
let the audience know where you're joining in from.
I'm from beautiful downtown Little Rock, Arkansas,
Okay.
right in the middle of flyover country.
Wow. And how's the right now? It's almost the end of the summer
Mhm.
in Tampa, Florida. I mean, in Florida, it is extremely hot,
So
like really hot. What about you? Are you starting to feel the fall season? How's the weather there?
it is beautiful today. It has
Oh.
been so hot. August in
Uh-huh.
Arkansas is just abominable because it's very hot, very sticky, probably a lot like Florida. But it rained all day yesterday. The temperature dropped 15 degrees, and today is glorious.
Wow. I am jealous. When I tell you it's like really like what's going on? And it's hot. It's really hot.
Oof.
But you know what? It's okay. I mean, I love Florida and we just have to like make the most of where we are. I used to live in New York for more than 20 years. So it's either is it the snow or the heat. I love both though. For some reason I miss the snow.
I do too.
Does it snow where you are?
Once in a while.
Okay. And do
When
you
I
like
was
it?
a kid, it would snow a lot in the winter, but lately we might get one or two snows.
Okay. No, I can't. I mean, I don't know when. Like, I miss it, but one of these days, I'll fly back to New York when it's snowing.
Oh, there is something magical
Is
about
it?
downtown New York. Times Square
Yes.
snow is ethereal. I get chill bumps just thinking
It's
about it.
it's like you're in a wonderland. And don't
Yes.
forget, Elise, I was originally from the Philippines, grew up there. I live
Okay.
in Australia also, but the part of Australia where I came from, it doesn't snow. So
Well,
like when I moved here and the first
mhm.
time I experienced snow, I literally I made a snow angel. Don't laugh at
Well,
my
of
age.
course, of course.
All right, I can't wait. All right, let's dive in. I want to know more about what you do. So let's talk about the inspiration because I
Mhm.
believe, at least, that every great business starts with a spark, an idea, a moment, or a
Mhm.
calling that set everything in motion. At least, what was that initial spark that led you into self storage investing? And perhaps maybe you want to share how did your passion and how did your passion for guiding others, especially through that critical first 90 days, develop?
So that's kind of a long and roundabout story.
Okay.
I got into self storage investing on just a lark. You know how sometimes the universe hands things to you and says you need to go do this and you don't know it? Well, I was in New York all the time,
Okay.
and even though I lived in Arkansas and working for a lot of big banks like Chase and Citibank, and
Right.
I helped start Signature Bank and just So I was spending all my time in New York City and making a lot of money. And I had been complaining to my daughter, the real estate agent, that I needed something to do with all that cash.
Right.
So she calls me one afternoon and says, "Hey, I've got this listing that's a storage facility, and I think you ought to come home and look at it."
Oh, wow.
So I did, and it took us a year to agree on the price.
Okay.
Because I was a little, analytical about the whole thing.
Okay.
But once I owned it and found out how easy it
Right.
was to run a storage facility, or at least it was for me,
Right.
I just fell in love with the business. It's very much a people business, and it fit my soul. It's a lot about it that's process oriented, and there's just enough tech involved to make me
Okay.
happy. So it was just fun for me. Um, but over the years, as I, owned one and then two, and you just keep acquiring them because
Wow.
they're so much fun.
Wow.
And I would buy ones that were not being well managed by somebody else and turn them around.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun to me, to fix somebody else's problems.
Okay.
Uh, and then Storage Trader was born because every time I went to a cocktail party and talked to people about the fact that I own storage facilities, they would go, "Oh, I really want one. I would love to invest in those. How can I do that?"
Wow.
And then the next sentence would be, "I really don't want to own the whole thing. I don't want to have to run it. I don't have time for that. I just
Yes.
want to invest in one because I hear they print money," which they do. But
Oh, wow.
um, so I ran into this delightful young woman who has a finance degree and a lot of experience managing funds, and she's brilliant. Um, and so I took her out to coffee and I said, "Hey, people are always saying this to me. I have this idea to build an online platform where we can match up people who need investors
Okay.
with these people I meet at cocktail parties that want to invest, and we
Okay.
can match make." And she said, "Great, let's do it." And that's how Storage Trader was born.
Wow.
That was
Wait, I
fun.
have so many reflection because I love your story.
Yeah.
Your initial like sharing when you said like when your universe just moves your path into something that you're not even like aware of before, and all of a sudden it lands in your lap. I can totally resonate with that. And when your universe and God calls you, at least I
Mhm.
agree with you. You can't say no. You
No.
can't turn your back, no
Yeah,
matter how difficult or how strange the business is or whatever your calling is. It's like I have to do it. There's
right?
like a voice in your head saying I need to do this. and
Yes.
I and I totally resonate with you because my field is actually field of education. For 30 years I've been, I used to own schools in the Philippines, and then I moved here. I went for like 2 degrees, master's degrees here in New York, and because I wanted to like lead a school here, right?
Mhm.
So all my life, 30 years field of education, working towards becoming a principal, and finally I was so close 2 years ago to becoming an assistant principal when I moved to Florida because I had to, change my certification. All of a sudden, boom. No, this is not what you're doing. My God, she's saying this is not what you're doing, Candice. And now look at me for almost a year and a half. I'm a speaker. I'm a podcaster. I'm writing a book, and I'm trying to write. I'm writing digital courses, so at least I'm not
Mhm.
totally far from the field of education, so that I can empower schools globally. So just like you, there's just a shift, and I love your story. It's like when you think about it, when I was reading your bio, I'm like, storage. Wow. Wow, this is interesting. I would love to feature her because people don't realize that a business could be something like out of the ordinary, but it can get really big. Like who would think of a
Man.
self-storage? So that's why you're here. Like I love how you started. And we're talking about how many locations now, Elise?
Oh, well, truth be told, I got divorced 3 years ago, and
Okay.
attorneys made me sell all of them. So I don't own any right now, and I'm
Okay.
telling people that. I
Yeah, it's
feel like
okay.
it's
You're
fraud.
lead. You're managing.
Yeah. Well, I'm running Storage Trader.
Nice,
I'm helping
nice.
other people make investments.
Wow,
And
wow.
that and my book really
Right.
saved my soul for this stage of my life.
Talk to
But
us about your book, Elise. Talk to us about your book.
oh, so I wrote this book last year. Well, we published in January. It's an extended essay on how to take over a storage facility and run it right for the first 90 days.
Wow.
And I decided to write that
Okay.
because when I sold my facilities, I turned over these beautiful, well-managed storage facilities. Our customers loved us.
Oh, oh.
It was just they ran like clockwork.
Okay.
And in a matter of 3 weeks, they were a disaster.
Okay.
Like,
What? Because they don't know how to manage it.
yeah, yeah. Like the customers didn't know where to send the checks. The power was out. They didn't get the electricity turned on right. So you couldn't get in the gate. And it
Okay.
was just, I could tell you stories for hours. It was so bad that my former office manager, who
Right.
they made the mistake of not hiring, um, couldn't even go to Walmart without being accosted by former customers telling her horror stories about how badly they were being treated.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
going, dude, I sold you this facility that was printing
Like,
money
what did you do?
too. Uh, man, anyhow, so that inspired me to sit down and
Okay.
write a primer on
Yeah.
how to take one over. So, like, everything you need to know. Um, and it's been a real hit. We were an
Nice.
Amazon bestseller like the first 2
Wow.
weeks out of the gate. That was exciting.
Wow. Well, does that mean you also support them in looking for the business? Like where like you know where you can find ones and then support them through your book or your mentorship so that they can run it, right? Do you also
I
assist them with that?
I do not get
Okay.
involved in helping them
Okay.
find them. There
Hmm.
are so many
Okay.
brokers
Okay.
and brilliant people who are already in the business of helping you
Okay.
find a storage facility. I didn't see that I personally added any value to that
Okay.
part. But once you've signed the dotted line on that real estate contract, I'm your girl. Call me.
Okay.
I'll help you out.
Nice. Because think about it, Elise. You're right, the first 90 days is so critical in any business.
Mhm.
Like, if you don't know how to manage it, you end up either making it or breaking it. You know what I mean? That's the two options. Like, if you're good with managing, wow, it can really like soar up high, like limitless. But then at the same time, if you don't know what you're doing, you lose the investment, you lose your passion, you lose the momentum, and it ends up a failure. So I feel that in any business, not just that business, you really need somebody like supporting you on like the aspect, all aspect of business, right?
Mhm.
Because it's so crucial in any business. Like what you said, like look at that person, like, what did you do? I handed it to you and look at what you did. And you can't blame them. Some people can just be plain investors, some people can be the brain, or there's some people who likes the action part. So like teaching all aspect, I think you need to learn. It's not like some people have it innately, but some people actually need to be trained. And we need people like you, and not just in that type of business. I think every business, right?
I had several people who read my book drop me an
Okay.
email or catch me when they run into me and go, look, this is not just about self storage. This is basic business principles that apply to so many businesses because I talk at such depth about effective
Wow.
customer communication. And you can completely screw things up, but if you're communicating effectively with your customer,
Yes.
they will forgive you for all kinds of sins if you just
Yes.
talk to them.
Right.
But failing to communicate, it's all over.
And
It,
honestly, Elise, I feel that in anything that you do, it could be like you said, in a business or at a workplace, communication, interpersonal relationship really matters. And
Mhm.
that's how you become successful. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if you're so smart, but if you have people skills, you have actual empathy, sympathy, and like just the heart. Sometimes
Mhm.
you get away with a lot of things, like you said, if you make mistakes, but like your clients actually feel your apology like it was an honest mistake. Sometimes it's like forgiveness is really possible when you know there's sincerity with a
Yeah.
person. And I totally believe with you, like interpersonal relationship matters a lot in
Mhm.
whatever you do.
The best office manager I ever had was a former hairdresser, and
Hmm.
she loved talking to people more than anything in the whole world. We
Wow.
had customers. I finally I had to work on this a little bit, but we had customers who would pop in 2 or 3 times a month just to talk to my office manager because they
Wow.
liked her so much. Now,
Wow.
that wasn't really what I was paying her for,
Okay.
but it was very effective.
Yes, yes. I don't know. There's just some people, at least, who has the touch, like the
Mhm.
voice that has concern, like genuine, like they not just the voice, they actually know how to listen. I
Yes,
feel that it's the listening part that really drives a person to talk to you. When you can just like stop like your reaction first and actually listen, because sometimes people just want to be heard, you
it's
know what I mean?
powerful.
It's so powerful. And I just want you to know I love what I'm doing because I'm meeting so many people, at least with such incredible story. And I can't like every time I meet, like I didn't know you at all, but I feel like I've known you for years. Like it's just, you know, it's just nice to really talk to people, especially like you find the passion, you feel the passion inside them.
Mhm.
You know, there's a power with connection and
There is.
communication, you know.
Did you know
Yeah,
that connection is one of the 6 pillars of longevity?
I
And
agree with you.
the the depth
Wow.
and quality of your human connections
Right.
makes all the difference in how well you age. Whether you're 20 or 80, it doesn't matter. Your relationships make all the difference.
And that I love that. I love what you're saying. And not sometimes at least you haven't even met the person. Like I
Mhm.
got so close with somebody like my guest even before we actually met on the podcast. It's like
Mhm.
a positive energy. For some we were like just sending things back and forth, and then we became, when I turned on the camera, it was like I knew her from like whatever the past, that we just started connecting, and then after the podcast we became friends. So I just feel like the connection, it doesn't matter where you are, who you are,
Mhm.
when there's a spark, when there's a connection with two people, it's just wonderful, you know what I mean?
It is.
I
It
totally
is.
believe in that, and we're just in question number one. Can you believe that?
Oh, goodness.
All right, let's talk about your journey and your
Mhm.
challenges. At least I believe that behind every success story are moments of, trial,
Mhm.
times when resilience was the only way forward. Now, in the world of what you do, the self storage management or your mentoring, what were some of the toughest challenges you faced early on? Whether the deals, ownership transitions, or investor mindset? And how did you push through them, Elise?
So, it you probably figured out that I'm a real people pleaser. Like, I love to take care of people, right?
Okay.
So, one of the things that you have to learn to deal with managing a storage facility is the fact that there are going to be people who do not always pay you.
Okay. Okay.
And then you have to deal with that. Like, we're not running a charity here.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
So, you end up having to auction off people's stuff.
Wow.
And that I don't care what they show you on Storage Wars. That is a heartbreaking.
I was gonna ask you about that.
It will rip your heart out having to do
Especially
that.
which part? Which part of it though?
Like you open up a unit because somebody hasn't paid and you find baby toys and family photos.
Right.
And we once found a 1930s Renault car in the back
Wow.
of one.
Wow.
Um, and I
But can
really,
you actually touch them? Let's say, they haven't paid for, let's say, what, months and months. Can you actually legally, can you actually get rid of it or sell it?
Mhm.
You
Yeah, I
could. All
have
right.
to.
You could. Okay.
I have to.
All right.
Now you have to follow the laws. There's
Okay.
very prescribed. You have to send out notices, and you have to do everything according to
Okay.
the right timing. You
Right.
have to
Right.
call the person and leave message, send letters, etc. Um, so you have to be very careful about that. But you need to
Yes.
get your unit back if they're not going to.
Yeah, it's just like renting your own. If you're landowner, that's your place. Technically, you have the right because that's yours. Especially if like they abandoned it because of payment, right? That's yours. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, we once had this lovely older woman rent with us, and she, as she was moving into a nursing home,
Okay.
she had everything she owned in the world moved in to a storage unit with us. And we thought she was just going to be in the nursing home for a little while, that she was
Okay.
healing from some surgery.
Right.
Um, and she turned over all of her financial wealth to the nursing home. They were in charge of paying her bills. Well,
Okay.
they decided that we were optional, that they didn't have to pay us. And so we would call her and she would say, "You've got to deal." And by this point, she was not
Not
mentally,
mentally
yeah.
together. All right.
And so we would talk to the nursing home and they would pay us and get caught up, and then they instantly wouldn't pay us again. So this went on for a while. And we kept trying to work back and forth because we did not want to auction off this woman's stuff.
Right.
I mean, we didn't know where her kids were. We had no contacts. All we had was the name of the nursing home.
Okay.
And then she passed away,
Okay.
which I guess we all saw that coming.
Yeah.
Uh, but there was no will. And so we had to go through the whole probate process. It was legal stuff. And we ended up losing a lot of
A
money
lot.
on that, but we were just very careful because we knew we had everything she owned on the planet. And surely she had kids, but they never showed up.
Wow.
So, with stuff like that, that was really hard for me
Yes. Yes.
to deal with because I don't like doing that to people. We once, when we first took over, there was this woman who didn't pay for a while, and I can track almost anybody down with just a
You
little
could.
bit.
Well, you need that skill. You have to be good at it, or else it's
Yeah,
gonna affect your business.
you're really probably not supposed to do this, but I found out that she was deaf and worked at a local deaf school.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't remember why she wasn't paying us.
Okay.
I ended up speaking with her boss, and because I couldn't speak to this woman. It's
Okay.
like I didn't know, she couldn't hear me, and I didn't know how to overcome that problem. So we finally got that straightened out. She got current and paid, but I was not
Okay.
going to let her
Good.
lose all her stuff.
Okay.
Anyhow, it's just dealing with that kind of stuff. Um, on the business side,
Mhm.
aside from dealing with tenants, there's always, repairs and stuff
Right.
that
Right.
happen in the storage facility. You learn things you never thought you would have to know about how
Okay.
expensive asphalt is to repair and what a good thunderstorm with a flood will do to the gravel. And yeah, it's an ongoing education.
Right, right, right,
And for a tech person, that was an interesting learning
right,
experience to gain an understanding of how you take care of the physical plant. But it's important that you gain that knowledge and take care of the facility because storage facilities are a vital part of the community
right, right,
and they affect how the surrounding community looks.
right,
You don't you don't want to drive by one and see it looking like trash because
right.
that seems to affect the rest of the community. It will
Mhm.
start downhill. So it was very important to us to make sure that we looked
Like
good.
maintained the cleanliness and everything. Now,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Like, you don't know what people store. You really don't. Like, what was the strangest story that you've ever had when it comes to like what they actually keep in there that eventually you found out? Just curious. Like that would be exciting. Like something decaying or something. Like I'm just thinking like what is the strangest story you've ever had?
Well, here in the South, we get a few deer heads. We have a lot,
Oh,
and
no, no
I'm here
way.
to tell you that deer heads don't store well. The heat is not a good
Oh
thing.
my goodness. Why would they even store it? Like it's not preserved or something. Why would they even store it?
Well, they're supposed to be preserved,
Okay,
because
so
we
it
don't
didn't
have
work
to.
out like the way they preserved it.
Yeah,
Oh
but
wow.
I guess somebody's wife wouldn't let him hang his deer head over the mantle, and so he put it in storage, but it did not do well. Uh,
So like you started smelling something?
oof. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Oh my god, that is okay. I knew I had to ask that story.
There
And
were lots of bugs. It was
Did they
gross.
come right away? I mean, I'm sure that's part of your contract we're in. You have the right. Do you have the right to open it if you sense something that okay, like unsafe or like okay, that's good. So you had to open it yourself. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So we
Wow.
eventually put sensors on all of our doors
Okay.
that they
Wow.
would track if there was movement inside the unit when the door was closed, and they would also monitor the heat. So
Okay.
if something caught
Okay.
fire, I had an alarm system that
Okay.
went off and we would know what was going on. But bugs I couldn't do much about. So they're too little to see on a camera.
Oh my, that is so, like think about it. Like it sounds so like easy self store, but yeah, look at all the things that you have to deal with. That's not easy. It's really not easy.
No, it's an education. And, we put things in our contract about you're not allowed to store hazardous chemicals in a storage
Yes.
unit, but people will do it anyhow.
Yes. Could do you don't initially check? It's like when somebody rents,
Mhm.
let's say at your property, like you have the right to check what they bring in? No. Okay. All right. That's
No, typically you don't. You can make
okay.
them sign all kinds of paperwork saying they won't do
Okay.
it, but you can't enter unless you have a reason to believe
Okay.
there's a problem.
Okay.
Like
I'm learning
then,
so
yeah,
much learning about this business, and it's nice that you're out there really talking about it because people don't know the ins and outs of what it is. And if you're really planning to open up like this kind of business, you need to know what you're into, like the challenges, the successes at the same time, which we're going to talk about. I'm sure it's something successful. That's why you're here, helping others from your experience. Can't wait to hear about that. Now, let's talk about the business and its
mhm,
impact. I
mhm,
feel, Elise, that a business is more than a product or service. It's a force that can shape lives and communities. And I know you did
mhm,
mention that, you have to make sure that it's well maintained because it's also part of the community. Can you
mhm.
share, Elise, how your work in self storage ownership or the way you're mentoring future owners impact both your clients and the communities they serve? And, you know, um, how is it transformative, especially for the first 90 days, or maybe just talk about the business in general? How do you think it's helping the community? Piggybacking on what you said, like
Well,
Share
there are a
more.
lot of ways that it helps the community, not just the
Okay.
look and feel of the
Okay.
business,
Yes.
but
Mm-hmm.
storage is a vital service. Um, a, a lot of people own homes that
Mm-hmm.
are not quite big enough for all their stuff. They don't
Yes.
they don't have a place to store their Christmas decorations or, like their extra deer heads or their uh, um or they have a parent pass away and leave them all the stuff and they have no place to put it in their home and they can't emotionally let go of
Yes.
it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're providing a vital service, giving them a place where they can put this stuff while they're figuring out what to do. Or I know at, when I got divorced recently, it was real important for me to have a place to put my stuff while I was trying to figure out where I was
Yes.
going to go.
Yes. Right.
I had my own up close and personal lesson in how important a service self storage really is. And people just can't get by without it. Here in the US, we're way too attached to our stuff. We can't just like
Yes.
let it go.
Yes. Yes.
So,
And yeah. Yes, thank you for explaining that because it's so true. And if you are, if you do have some stuff like in a storage and you want to like I said, it could be temporary or long term. You want to visit it once in a while. You
yeah,
don't want to go far, like more than 10, 15 minutes away or 30 minutes. You want it close to you because you're talking about your valuables. You're talking about just an extension of your home. Think about it. Some of it are really basically extension of your home,
yeah,
right? That's the reason. Or else it would be in, you will just call Salvation Army to pick up something or
yeah,
donate it. Why pay monthly? It's because it's valuable for you. So that means you still have an attachment to it and you want it like close by. So
you
I
do.
love how you explained that it is part of the community. That is
It,
such an important thing to highlight, that without it, like really, especially if it's an emergency that you have to vacate a home, let's say, especially I'm in Florida, there's a hurricane season, and
mm,
whenever we deal with, not hope, not good thing I haven't dealt, like I really have not been affected, but flooding
mm,
could be a reason. And if you can save some of the things, where would you put it?
right.
And the self storage, it's so vital. It's really, you're right, it is critical. And I hope that a lot of people watch this to let them know that, hey, this is a really an important business, or like an important thing to consider, because
Mhm.
you can't live without it. It's something that you can't live without,
You really can't. A number of storage facilities are expanding their service offerings. They
like
uh,
how.
may have workshops, like units that are fitted out so that you can keep all your garage tools, your woodworking stuff
Okay. Okay.
there and use it there in the facilities, and they'll have power that you can use, and so you don't have to take up your garage at your house
Okay.
with all of your project stuff. Um,
Nice.
they'll also have lockers, just
Okay.
little small, like high school kind of book lockers, where you can lock important paperwork that maybe you don't want in the house, but
Yeah.
when I have a lockbox at the bank.
Okay.
They have Amazon delivery services, so you can have packages dropped off at your
Wow.
facility. So lots of interesting services related
Nice.
to storage. And a lot of neighborhoods won't allow you to park your boat in
Right.
the house.
Wow.
So people will store boats and extra cars and, boy toys, bicycles, motorcycles, that kind of stuff in their storage unit.
Right, right. And like seasonal things that you don't
Mhm.
need at the moment. Uh,
Right,
can I don't laugh, because I used to be in New York, which is cold, so I
mhm,
have tons and tons of winter jacket and winter coat.
right.
And I'm just lucky that where I stay right now, that I still have space. But now that I'm into podcasting and hosting like 3 4 times, I do like a costume change, I'm running out of space. And I don't want to
Yeah.
get rid of all my really nice coats because it's like they're expensive, and at the same time when I go back to New York I still have them. But you know
Yeah.
what, space is an issue even with clothes, because when you're talking about, especially in New York, four seasons, you have to literally rotate your dresser,
Mm-hmm.
because if I try to fit all my clothes in my like current dresser right now, forget it. I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
So I rotate them and then
Mm-hmm.
put them. You know what I mean? So it is an issue. Like
It
you,
is.
space is really an issue for a lot of people. You
And
know.
closets in New York are not very big, so you don't have a lot of space
Well, I
unless
the
you're out
nice thing is I was in
bedroom.
Westchester County, not the city. So
Mm-hmm.
we, yeah, like but it's still a problem, but like, it's not like New York City. We're in really New York City. The space is limited.
Oh.
But still it's a struggle. Miss Elise, don't laugh. Has anyone tried to sleep in one of the rooms? I'm just curious. Like, what if, let's say, homeless and they really have no place to stay?
I never had much trouble with that. We had really good
How would
security,
you know?
but
Yeah.
uh, but I hear stories from a number of other facility owners that they had trouble with that. That they had people sleeping in units, or they walked in on people having sex out in front. It's all kinds of weird stuff going on. I've heard so many
Right.
stories. You should go to a storage conference sometime and
I would
listen to
love that.
stories that people tell. They're
Wow.
hilarious.
Wow. Wait, is it even, what about like, I'm sorry, because I know it's a really close, yet you don't need air, you don't need a window because you're just storing stuff. Can you
Uh-huh.
actually, what I mean? Do you have to follow that? Do you need a window? Like, isn't,
I mean,
I'm
seriously, no,
sorry, am I asking silly
no,
questions?
no, I've never figured that out. How could somebody sleep in a storage unit with the door shut? I mean, the air doesn't circulate that well. There's no window. I mean, dude, seriously? I I
I
get it.
Come on, people are strange. We have to accept
What
that
is?
people are strange. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
ma'am. I will tell you that I was touring a storage facility a couple years ago to buy, and I opened a unit just, I wanted to see what the condition of them was inside. And there was this guy there peeing in the corner, and I was going, "Oh, I'm out." Yeah, sorry. So the way people have invested in storage facilities has traditionally been um, based on who you know.
Okay.
Like, if you played golf with somebody that was putting a deal together, then you had access to invest in this particular asset class. But if you
Okay.
didn't know somebody, or you weren't buying one yourself, then you didn't have an opportunity to get involved.
Right.
And our mission at Storage Trader is to democratize that whole process and
Okay.
make self-storage investing accessible and easy for anybody
Right.
who's actually an accredited investor. It's just our platform is like going to Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
picking out a shirt to buy. It's just that easy. And we like making that difference, that it is so easy to connect people who want to invest with people who have projects and need investment. And we make it easy on both sides. It's
Okay.
like people who are trying to put a deal together may not know enough accredited investors to really round out their whole capital stack.
Right.
We make that super easy for them to get introduced to people who are interested in doing that. So I feel like we're revolutionizing the industry by making this so simple.
Nice.
That's our goal.
I love it because it might sound um complicated for some people, and the way you're, like what I said, there's always a need for mentorship, so that any investment will get off at a good start. And that's what you need. Who else are you going to ask to mentor you but somebody who really went through the business themselves, right? And like, it's like sometimes taking a business course at a school when your professor don't even have a business and they're teaching you
Oh,
business degree, right? So who's the best mentor to support you, but who actually, somebody who actually did had the business themselves, or really knowledgeable about the ins and out of the business. And it's not just the business, the leadership behind it, right? I
I
love it.
agree. We built the platform to require that all the information that you need to see to
Wow.
evaluate a deal is available to you at the click of a button.
Right.
As we won't allow somebody to post an opportunity online without providing all of the information that
Right.
we think you need to have in order to make a well-informed decision. Now, of course, you need to read it, which is
Yes.
always a good idea. And we connect you up with the person who's putting the deal together and encourage you to have conversations, but we make sure that the information that you need is present.
That's such a wonderful support. I love what you're doing. Thank you for that, Miss Elise. Now, my last question is, I always ask this to every guest I have, whether in my podcast or the guests when I do my hosting in the community, or when I do my live show. I I believe that we want to hear your last word. Like, every leader, Miss Elise, carries a piece of wisdom that can inspire others on their own journey.
Oh,
There's a reason why I really put up this series, because I believe that nowadays we wanna mold leaders. We want future leaders. If you could leave one key piece of advice for someone about to take on their first business or self-storage property, or something for them to remember you by, what would that be, Miss Elise?
I would tell them always show up ready to listen and learn,
Wow.
no matter how smart you are. And my business partner reminds me of this on the regular. Always show up ready to learn something new.
Yes,
And
yes.
good gracious, in this day and age with all the AI that's given us, it's like you have got to be ready to learn a new skill. But you cannot lose sight of the people. So that's
Yes,
why the listening is important. You've got to listen to your customers. So that's listen and learn.
I love that. And like I said, when you listen, you make that connection.
Mhm.
Whether the client your clientele, your associates, your partner. Connection matters because you know how to listen. I love that.
Yes.
That is such a timeless piece of advice. And wherever you go, whatever you're doing, so simple yet so powerful. And I think it applies far beyond real estate or self
Yes.
storage. Whether someone's stepping into a business, starting a new career, or even taking a leap into something personal, you know, what you just said matters. And your wisdom is a reminder, Miss Elise, that success comes from both strategy and a mindset. There's so many
Mhm.
things that you shared with them that without it, a business might either not really,
Mindset
like,
is
maybe
everything.
longer to like become successful, or totally like fail, and we don't want that.
No, we
Now,
don't.
before we close, first of all, I just want to say thank you for being such a wonderful guest and for shining your wisdom and for sharing your story with us today. Before we wrap up, Miss Elise, how can our audience find you and connect with your work?
So the best way to find me is to come visit us at storagetrader.com.
Okay.
And it's a super simple free platform. So just come on down, sign up. We have all kinds of reading material.
Okay.
Or you can come visit me and take a look at my book on beyondthelocks.com. It has its own
Okay.
website, and it's available on Amazon. So super simple to find there. And you can always drop me a note at Alese, ALESE, at storagetrader.com. And I'm happy to answer your emails.
That's fantastic. And whenever I share this podcast, I put introduction and everything like that, and what you do. I would actually reach out to you prior, like before, like after this podcast, so that you could give me all these links, so that, and this is shared all over social media, so that they can directly just press the link and find you. So I'm
Excellent.
gonna connect with you again to get all the links that you want shared. Your book, your storage website, your socials, so that at least it's easier for the audience, the followers, to reach out to you.
Awesome.
Thank you. And for
Absolutely.
those listening, if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me on my website at candicewithjira.com, and my social media. You know, I'm everywhere. Linktree/Candice Ruggiero. And before I wrap up, Miss Alice, do you have anything else that you want to add or say before we wrap up the show?
Oh, it just that it was a delight to meet you. This has been the most fun conversation.
Yes, me
Thank you.
too. And like sometimes like like everybody looks so like oh no, like I get, everybody has fears, like like who you're gonna meet, but no, like the instant we turned on the camera, we're like, hi, how are you?
Yeah, like
And
we're
like
old
what you
friends.
said, you're big with connection. You're big with connection.
I
And
am.
that's exactly what we had. We had
Important.
connection. I just want to say thank you for that. I
Thank
had a fun
you.
time too. I had such a
Good.
great time talking to you.
Awesome.
And I hope we can collaborate. Find me on my be a hopefully we can friend request each other, and then
Mhm.
whatever you have, I'll be happily share. And whenever
It
I
goes both
really
ways.
you're a guest, I share a lot of you, not just once. It's gonna be like multiple times that I do a lot of like stuff just to
Mhm.
like help you, for and thank you for being a guest. So I do more
Thank
stuff,
you.
not just one. So I can't wait to share to
Well,
everybody what you do and who you are.
I'm excited to share you on all my socials. So
Yay!
fun. Awesome.
And
Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your
yes,
weekend.
I just want to end that to our listeners. Thank you for being here. Remember, leadership is about intentionality. It's about showing up with purpose, courage, and clarity, just as Alice has modeled today. Again, this has been Intentional Excellence Podcast. I'm your host, Candice Ruggiero, reminding you that excellence isn't accidental, it's intentional. Until the next time, keep leading with purpose. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Miss Elise. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.